Now, I would like to invite Dr. Dharmeshwar Barohi, coordinator of Geology Club, to deliver the welcome address.
This seminar is organized as a part of the Art Day celebrations, and this will be a unique opportunity for all the students to get motivated, or this is actually organized to motivate all the young minds to in respect to embracing the urban biodiversity. That's why the title or topic of this seminar is kept as the Wild in the City Embracing the Urban Biodiversity. I request all the students to actively participate in this seminar session. I also welcome the other the members from the GEC, Joy Datta Purkhaista, Abhi Medhi, Sanat Bohra, Syamanta Ram Phukan, and Sayam Majumdar, who is a President Awardee and the speaker of this today's session. I also welcome all the other members of the GEC, and I request, once again, I request all the faculty, students, and from the zoology and the other departments like forensic science and this botany department, and whoever present here. I request all of you to actively participate in this session, and I hope it will be a fruitful and it will be an enlightening session ahead. Thank you.
To our respected faculty members present in the program today, and to all the students of life sciences departments, and also to our student guests who have come for this occasion of celebrating Earth Day, although a day later. But welcome to all of you, and a hearty good morning to all of you. It was like a few days back, around 5 to 6 days back, that one student from our university came to me and said that, yes, ma'am, my brother is a record holder and he's the youngest snake catcher. So it was very fascinating. I asked him, okay, tell me, like, show me his profile and all. And when he showed the profile of Sayan, like, it was really fascinating, and I thought, yes, such a young boy of only he is 16, maybe, right? And he's been doing such incredible job. Like, we get scared when even a snake is around meters and meters away from us, and he goes near the snake and catches it, and that really requires courage and not everyone's cup of tea there. So we thought, yes, we can really take up some program on this. And I thought, now how do we get it done? So we have the Zoology Club, which is an excellent and very, very active club under Rifa and Nena. They have been doing really well. Over the last 2 years almost, they have been really active and taken up major programs. Even last year, we took up the awareness wildlife mela and all. It was a 3 days mela that they organized. So immediately I thought I'll discuss it with them first. So I shared their phone numbers, and they got in touch, and in fraction of seconds, everything got implemented. So you can see the leadership in them, in both of them, Rifa and Nena. Like, so without any further discussions, everything got coordinated, and they planned out, they took the approval, and everything was done in a day's time almost. Next, when they came to inform and invite, I was like, you took the approval and everything done? They were like, yes, ma'am, everything is done. So that is the efficiency of our clubs and our students that we are really proud of. So this occasion is really to mark Earth Day, and what could be a better way of showing respect to the other residents of the earth, the animal world also. And yes, giving platforms, since this is a club activity where we encourage our students to take the leadership rather than the faculty taking the leadership here. And everything is done under the jurisdiction, under the planning, under the execution of the student leaders of the club. So what could have been a better way of associating with another student team out here? One student team connecting with another student team and taking the program forward. So we are much fortunate, and we feel really happy to have Sayan Majumdar and his team for the program, and we are eagerly waiting to listen to your experiences and what you got to share today with your co-partners who are also animal lovers here. So after this, there is an exhibition also. So all the students are requested to also join and visit the exhibition, where there will be a lot of learning also to take place. So with these few words, I welcome once again all of you to this very, very beautiful and exciting program that Sayan will be sharing his experiences with us. Thank you.
Moving forward, we are honored to have with us today Mr. Sayam Majumdar, the recipient of the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar 2024 for his exceptional work rescuing stray animals since the age of 10. Despite facing challenges and requiring financial support, Mr. Majumdar has rescued over 1,000 dogs and 800 snakes. His dedication to animal welfare, even amidst hurdles, showcases his compassion and determination. This national recognition highlights his outstanding contribution and serves as an inspiration for others to make a positive impact in their communities. Now, I would like to invite our esteemed guest, Mr. Sayam Majumdar, to join us on stage. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes forward for the felicitation. I would like to introduce Mr. Jayaditya Purakashya, who earned his PhD from the Zoology Department of Guwahati University and currently serves as the General Secretary of Help Earth. Let's warmly welcome him to the stage for felicitation. To present the felicitation, I would like to invite Ms. Nana Deka, the Vice President of the Zoology Club. Please welcome Mr. Abhi Medhi to the stage for felicitation. His expertise in cobra rescue and dedication to wildlife conservation are truly commendable. To present the felicitation, I would like to invite Ms. Disha Agarwal, the Secretary of the Zoology Club.
Green Art Guardians, a community dedicated to promoting sustainability and urban biodiversity. From rescue operations to educational programs, we work tirelessly to protect our planet and all its inhabitants. We invite you to join us in making a positive impact on our environment. As you already know about Sayam, Sayam is the founder of Green Art Guardians and he is also the CEO. Next, we would like to introduce you to Mr. Rituraj Das. Rituraj Das is the co-founder and head of IT design and marketing. Rituraj has played a crucial role in bringing the organization's vision to life through technology and design. Green Earth Guardians began as a vision to create a more sustainable and compassionate world. It all started with Sayam's passion for animal welfare and his desire to make a tangible difference. He assembled a team of dedicated individuals who shared his vision, and together they launched the first rescue operations and community programs. From those humble beginnings, we have grown into an organization with branches in multiple states, making a positive impact on countless lives. We are proud to have expanded our reach with branches in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. In Tamil Nadu, we have President K. Haresh Babu, who oversees our rescue and educational programs. In Andhra Pradesh, President Thagin Krishnan leads our team in their efforts to promote urban biodiversity and sustainability. These branches allow us to extend our impact and connect with local communities to foster a deeper understanding of environmental issues. So, what is the motto of our organization? Green Earth Guardian is involved in a variety of projects and activities that aim to protect the environment and promote urban biodiversity. We conduct rescue operations, educational programs, and community events that raise awareness about sustainability. Our social media presence and YouTube channel helps us reach a wider audience, spreading our message of conservation and encouraging others to get involved. Now, meet the board of directors of Green Earth Guardians. The board of directors who bring a wealth of experience and expertise to Green Earth Guardians. Abhi Medhi serves as the head of rescue department. Rituraj Das is the head of IT, design and marketing. Manpreet Singh is the head of security and emergency response. These leaders play a crucial role in guiding our organization and ensuring that we stay true to our mission. We also have some supporting members for Green Earth Guardians. They help us the dedicated members who help keep our operations running smoothly. Sujal Banik is in charge of stall management, while Devanjan is our event anchor. Rituraj Das coordinates our activities, and Manpreet Singh handles security and emergency response. Special guests like Sanat Dada and Shamanath Ram Fukan add value to our events. We are grateful to have such a committed team behind us. What we are going to do and what are our future plans? Our future plans are ambitious and exciting. Over the next 5 years, we aim to expand our reach by opening more branches across the country. We plan to increase our rescue operations, conduct more educational programs, and collaborate with other organizations to promote urban biodiversity. Our ultimate goal is to create a more sustainable world where humans and animals can coexist harmoniously. We also have launched a website. We are excited to announce that our new website is coming soon. This will be a hub for all things Green Earth Guardians, where you can learn about our projects, upcoming events, and how you can get involved. Stay tuned for the official launch, and thank you for supporting our mission to protect our planet and its wildlife. Thank you. I will like to introduce Sai Majumdar to the stage to share his experiences with all of us.
Everyone, today, good morning everyone. Today I, Sayam Majumdar, want to thank you Royal Global University to allow us to do this seminar in a great day, because today we are going to share about the wildlife. Not only about wildlife, we are also going to share about the environmental sustainability, because nowadays the youths are the new generation for India. India is going in Viksit Bharat 2047. So our youths are the future of our India. So we have to be confident that we can do everything, because nowadays many students are here, and I will share my experience and my motto that I am doing a great work in my era, and every people should come and join this. Today I, Sai Majumdar, in front of you, starting my speech in a great way. I want to share some experience about my own life also, which every students will get some knowledge, I think that, and I start my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow conservationists, today we gather not just as individuals, but as stewards of our planet, entrusted with the monumental task of preserving our wildlife and nurturing our environment. As we embark on this journey of conservation, it's crucial to recognize that each one of us brings unique goals and ideas to the table. Our diversity is not a hindrance but a strength, for it is in our collective efforts that we can truly make a difference. Wildlife conservation or environmental sustainability is not just a joke, because nowadays people doesn't think about our nature, wildlife and environmental sustainability, because today people are forgetting about our sustainable future, and now we have to make this make our country pride and proud, because in India many states are there who are doing the main sustainable development in their state. I want to share some experience in my era, that I have started my rescue since I was in class 3, and I have started from stray dogs. Actually, when I was 7 years old, I actually feed the dogs in our strays, and also I looked at many stray dogs are there. They feel cold in the cold seasons. In the winter season, they feel cold. There are many people are there who beat them, and many dogs are there who are abandoned from their family. Actually, it's not about the people's mindset. Because of the trait, the human natural trait, which is coming from years to years. Actually, our parents teach us that. So I am not saying about the parents. Actually, it's a trait. Actually, our parents say that, बेटा देखो, अभी कुत्ते के सामने मत जाना, काट देगा तो कुछ हो जाएगा. क्या होगा? रेबीज. रेबीज कौन से डॉग में पाया जाता है, कौन सा सिम्टम्स होता है रेबीज का, वो चीज़ मैं आपको एक बार बता देता हूँ कि जो रेबीज़ होता है ना, रेबीज़ का एक सिम्टम्स रहता है. जो भी रेबीज़ डॉग्स रहते हैं ना, उनके मुंह से सलाइवा निकलता रहता है, और वो जो डॉग रहेगा वो सबको काटेगा और दौड़ता रहेगा और बैलेंस नहीं कर पाएगा. एक सिचुएशन में वो ऐसा आएगा कि वो चल नहीं पाएगा. एंड लाइक दैट मैंने 3-4 साल रेस्क्यू किया, और क्लास 3 से 6 तक, जब तक लॉकडाउन नहीं आया. और लॉकडाउन के बाद मेरा जो इंटरेस्ट था वो थोड़ा सा डिस्ट्रैक्ट होके वाइल्ड लाइफ कंजर्वेशन के साइड में चला गया, जहाँ पर मैंने रेप्टाइल रेस्क्यू के अंदर थोड़ा सा अपने ऊपर काम किया। और मैंने मीट किया मेरे ट्रेनर सौरभ खान मिश्रा से, और मैंने उनसे थोड़ा सा स्नेक रेप्टाइल रेस्क्यू और जो भी वाइल्ड लाइफ कंजर्वेशन रिलेटेड जो भी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं इंडिया में चल रहा है, और कौन सा स्नेक वेनमस है, कौन सा स्नेक वेनमस नहीं है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा नॉलेज लिया। एक्चुअली जो भी जर्नी होता है एज अ रेस्क्यूअर मैं बोल रहा हूँ आप सभी को, एज अ स्टूडेंट, मैं एक स्टूडेंट हूँ। मैं जब क्लास 7-8 में था तब मैंने फील्ड में रेस्क्यू करना स्टार्ट कर दिया था। और एज अ स्टूडेंट मेरा एक प्रॉब्लम क्या होता था कि जब मैं रेस्क्यू करने जाता था बहुत लोग ऐसे आते थे कि भाई बेटा तुम क्यों रेस्क्यू कर रहे हो, पढ़ाई में थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम होगा ना। मैंने बोला पढ़ाई तो मैं मैनेज कर रहा हूँ ना, आप मुझे गाइड कर सकते हो उतना गाइड कीजिए। बट अभी के स्टूडेंट्स में इतना मतलब इतना थिंकिंग पावर है कि वो लोग सोच सकते हैं कि अभी हम लोगों को क्या करना चाहिए और क्यों करना चाहिए। क्योंकि अगर आप कुछ गलत कर रहे हैं तो आपको पता, अगर आप कुछ अच्छा करना चाहते हैं तो आपको ही पता होगा। तो सभी चीज़ आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि आप अच्छे कर रहे हैं या गलत कर रहे हैं। इसलिए अभी हमारा धीरे धीरे जो रेस्क्यू सेशन है वो मैं थोड़ा सा इंक्रीज़ किया और मैंने टीम बिल्ड किया। फर्स्ट मेरा जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम था मैंने वो पॉज एंड रेप्टाइल्स एसोसिएशन रखा था, जहाँ पर लॉकडाउन टाइम में सिंस वो 2021 से हम लोगों ने काम स्टार्ट किया था। और वहाँ पर तब 40-50 मेंबर्स थे। और क्योंकि तभी सभी लोगों का लॉकडाउन सेशन में लोग घर में बैठे थे और दे कैन डू रेस्क्यूज बिकॉज दे हैव टाइम। बट आफ्टर लॉकडाउन दे फॉरगॉटेड अबाउट द थिंग। मतलब क्या बोलूँ मैं, सभी लोग अपने काम से लेके थोड़ा सा बिजी हो गए और काम में थोड़ा फोकस करने लगे। और हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से बहुत लोगों ने लीव कर दिया। और बाद में मैंने भी सोचा कि चलो अभी तो कोई नहीं है, मुझे ही करना पड़ेगा। बट ऐसा बहुत स्ट्रगल होता है जो एज अ स्नेक रेस्क्यूअर और स्ट्रे डॉग का रेस्क्यू जो हम लोगों ने किया है, ऐसे बहुत कन्फ्लिक्ट हो जाते हैं। जैसे मिसकंसेप्शन जो जैसे सोसाइटी में है, सनत भैया और जयदत्त सर आप लोगों को बताएंगे कि सोसाइटी में कैसे मिसकंसेप्शन रहते हैं और क्यों ये सब डाला जाता है। क्योंकि आजकल के जो फिल्म मेकर है, फिर मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कोई भी फिल्म मेकर के बारे में, एक्चुअली दे वांट टू एंटरटेन द पीपल, दैट्स व्हाई दे आर मेकिंग द फिल्म्स। लाइक एक्चुअली जो भी फिल्म्स बनाया जाता है सब फेक होता है और फेक नॉलेज लोगों के माइंड में सेव हो जाता है। और जो भी पहले से आ रहा है, लोग देखते आ रहे हैं, जो जैसे नागिन फिल्म हो गया, बहुत कुछ ऐसे सांपों के माथे में मनी रहता है और बहुत कुछ ऐसे मिसकंसेप्ट सोसाइटी में है अभी। और यही चीज़ को चेंज करने के लिए आज मैं ग्रीन अर्थ गार्जियंस को इंट्रोड्यूस कराना चाहता हूँ, जहाँ पर हमारे वेल नोन स्पीकर आप लोगों को स्पीच दे के समझाएंगे और थोड़ा सा इंटरेक्शन करेंगे आप सभी के साथ। और सभी लोगों को ये रिक्वेस्ट है, अगर आप कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहते हैं, यू कैन आस्क आवर स्पीकर्स विल गो टू एवरी पीपल एंड दे विल आस्क द क्वेश्चंस। ओके, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Sayam. Now, I would like to call Jayadatta sir on the stage to share about his valuable experiences.
So I'll move around and try to look into you, and if you have any doubt or anything, you can just go ahead and ask me in between. And thank you all of you for giving me the opportunity to talk. So for myself, I do most of the work on wildlife related throughout Northeast India, amphibians, reptiles, and urban biodiversity. So Shyam gave a good talk about like what it's going to be and how he presented it, gave a foundation of what we are going to talk about today. Sanat will talk about snakes in details, but I'll keep it very brief because seminars, I found seminars nowadays have become like city bus, because in city bus also you have to call people, seminar also you have to call people. And also I realized in many seminars, like academic seminars where we present papers and all, I have found a good this thing, like in seminars the presenter spends sleepless night creating the presentation to make people sleep when he presents. So this is something that's because ultimately the thing is that here also, if you feel, many people, most of you are maybe forced to come and sit here, ketia hek hobo baad diya. So these are the things. But then why it is important, it is not like out of 100 people, 100 will learn something. At least two or three will get out and think something about it. And that's the benefit of this seminar. So this is because I was given to talk about urban biodiversity. So here, go back a bit, the first slide. So this is in my home, small changes that can be made by yourself. Okay, this is in my home where I have this box and sparrows. I donated lots of this, bird boxes throughout. I remember I donated 6 years back. Royal Global, we have a program also. I remember, if I remember, we donated such box, I think. So that was a city's animal campaign was going on at that point of time. Ganges River dolphin became the city's animal of Guwahati. So very small step, you don't have to take a great step to conserve anything. The first thing is that, rescue, snake rescue, in most of the cases, what I realized, because people are thinking that, madam said we are afraid of snake and somebody. To be afraid is very good thing and that should stay. Most of the time, rescue is faltu, unnecessary rescue. What example we are setting? What example you are setting? Media gives you focus because you are rescuing snake. But rescue is a biggest problem that we are facing right now if you are not doing it in a methodical way. Most of the time where there is no rescue required, from the forest somebody is catching snake and releasing back into the forest. What is the requirement? Most of the time you just have to make people understand that the rescue, make people aware. You don't have to hold them, but because of the fame associated with it, I want to break that fame. Every snake rescuer, go to Facebook, every snake rescuer providing a photo of snake, catching a snake, holding a snake in Facebook. What is this? First, you are breaking wildlife law. 1972, you are breaking that and you are liable to punishment. You are liable to punishment based on the schedule of the species, A. B, you are setting up a wrong example because you are encouraging other people to catch snake. I have seen people catching snakes from forest just to get a small bite in news media. These are all wrong messages. You have to teach people for example, I have been asked to rescue snake from foothills. This is their natural place. Why do you want to rescue them? Why do you want to rescue them? Every day or other day we'll find somebody is catching a owl and standing like this in paper, photograph. So we are giving very wrong message. Rescue has become something very tricky nowadays. So who is rescuing for what purpose? That is a big question to be asked. Next, please. So since we are with Life Science Department and we are talking on urban biodiversity and wildlife as a whole. So go back, please. I'll tell you when to change. Go back. Are you aware of all those names? Do you know all those terms? Any of the term that you perhaps? How many of you know the term biodiversity hotspot? Have you been in Royal Global, one of the ACE Institute of Assam? How many of you know the term? What is biodiversity hotspot? You know Assam is a part of biodiversity hotspot? Yes? Yes. So what is a biodiversity hotspot? Any answer? What is a biodiversity hotspot? Yes, please, come. I love those things. Huh? Come here, so everybody can listen to you.
A very high number of different species are present in that area.
very high number of different species are present in that area. Do you agree with that? How many of you agree with that? Raise your hand. Or how many of you agree with it? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay. And how many of you disagree with it? Raise your hand. Okay. And rest are what? Thakur from Sholay without hands. Huh? Rest do not have hands. So that you have to change, you know. Otherwise, either you agree or disagree. Yeah? So I'll tell you, I disagree with it. Because primarily it is correct. Biodiversity hotspot is like a brilliant boy who is not studying. See, one dumb boy is there who is not studying. So he has no future. Jimane poribaru ki hobo. But there is a boy who you know that, are bhai, ajikali bhoyu lage boy kobo. Girl maybe also. I should not be biased towards boy. Bairot gali kham. So anyone. So that fellow has potential, but that fellow is not studying. You will give more effort to that fellow. Biodiversity hotspot are the places which has lot of opportunities, but unfortunately they are not doing well. If we take good care, they can do very well. A desert is not a biodiversity hotspot. How much trouble you take, you cannot do anything much there. So biodiversity hotspot, actually the term was coined by someone, Meyer, who was a botanist and who said that a place which is having more than 1,500 endemic angiosperm, part A. 1,500 endemic angiosperm part A. And most of people stop there. No. 70% of which has been lost. Part B. So you have to add both the part. So if you take good care of that place, there are better chances of giving good result. Next, please. I'll go little fast because there are a lot of speakers. So these are all the biodiversity hotspots you can see, and what I said, like, 70% on everything. There are 35 biodiversity. How many biodiversity hotspots are there in Northeast India? Anybody? Anyone? How many? 1, 2, or 3? Let's make it simple. 1, how many think it's 1? How many think it's 2? Okay, I say 2 hands. How many of you think it's 3? Okay, 3. Teachers are only participating, that's the problem. Acha, let's see if you have any osteological problem or not. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, all of you. So you don't have any shoulder problem. I initially thought something might be wrong, like spondylitis or something. But you should raise your hand. Okay. So this is what I said. There are 2 biodiversity hotspots. Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot and Eastern Himalaya, which passes a part of Arunachal and all. Next, please. So what is the importance of biodiversity? Why do you want to save biodiversity? I tried to find out some of the reasons that we need to save biodiversity, and I can just think and find these are the reasons we can, save biodiversity. There I am taking photograph. So even if nothing else, it's good to, take photographs also. So how many of you are interested in photography? 1 hand. Are lots of hand. If you ask trending topic, selfies, then that is not what I am asking, okay? You don't consider selfie as a part of photography, okay? Selfie is a psychological problem. It's not actually, camera should not come with front camera. Lonely people will take selfie because they do not have anyone to take their photograph. So selfie is not the one, okay? So these are some of the reasons. Next, please. So this is a beautiful picture I took, and it is not a selfie. So it tells a story. This is which bird is it? Magpie robin, okay, good. And it came from teachers only. Students, what are you doing? So it's a magpie robin which lives near my house only, but what I realized was every evening, 3:30 p.m., it will come to drink water from the leakage of my neighbor's pipe. Because all the groundwater has been, you know, under concrete. So where they will get water from? So you do small things. What we don't do is trying to do big things, we don't do small things. Do those small things and you can bring a big change. I am always in favor of doing small things correct. Next, please. Okay, statistics don't bother, okay? Statistics, just I'll tell you something. Although cities, because urban biodiversity I am supposed to talk, cities occupy 3% of the earth's surface, but 75% of the resource we utilize, okay? And more importantly, what I this day, next slide please, I'll go to that India and others will be urbanizing much faster than any other. Much faster than any other. So ultimately, more and more, there is the story of red dot. You go and search this in YouTube, story of a red dot. You will find a very good story how cities expand and eat into its surrounding. Okay, so you see, the most important thing is that 36,000 hectare forest cut down every day. And that is cumulatively 13 million hectares per year of forest is been cut down. Okay, next please. So leave it, next. I'll just give you a snippet because others will also talk. So there is some beautiful comparison from Google Earth I saw. This is left Guwahati, New Delhi, Washington DC and Paris. I have 4 slides of Google Earth photo, you can do it. Which one is green, more green? Guwahati. So we see, with great power comes, I cannot hear. So we have great power because we have lots of green left. But with great power comes great responsibility. To keep this green place alive, it's our responsibility. But those fellows like Paris, Washington DC, I don't see any green patch left, even in Delhi. So you are lucky. You are lucky. Clap for our city. I have been to many cities in India. Believe me, very, very rarely you find 18 hills, 8 reserve forest, 2 wildlife sanctuaries, 1 Ramsar site, a river flowing through in one city. That's the beauty. I'm proud to be born and been living in Guwahati. How many of you are from Guwahati? Stand up. Stand up and clap loudly for being in Guwahati. This is one of the best places to be in. Loudly, yes. हाँ, तो क्या है ना कि हम लोग तो मतलब these are stories. अभी पैर एक्सीलेटर में पैर पड़ता नहीं, you go to शिलोंग. ऐसे खाली पैर लगता है, we go to शिलोंग. और क्या चाहिए? अब परिमल साहब भी इधर है. One of my friend, I did not, he was there, I forgot to call him actually. ठीक है, चलो next. So these are all the forest patches you want to know about Guwahati. Next, speed करना पड़ेगा. Next. So these are the changing phases of Guwahati. From 1984 to 2016, how Guwahati changed and how the forest type changed. There is a small snippet. We are losing forest, but we can still save if we wish. It's not that disastrous in relation to some other places. Next, please. छोड़ दो, ये सब छोड़ो. What is this? पीछे जाओ. What is this? मैथ्स तो पढ़ा होगा. नंबर लाइन. तो यहां पे नंबर लाइन क्यों दे दिया? सी, अच्छा एक बात बताओ तो, हु इज जीबो श्रेष्ठो? जोर से बताओ, कौन है? हु इज द ग्रेटेस्ट क्रिएशन? जोर से बोलो। यही तो गधा का बात हुआ, यही तो सब कुछ लूट गया, यही तो सब कुछ खो गया। आपने टाइगर से पूछा था कि डू यू एग्री आई एम जीवो श्रेष्ठो? आपने चूहा से पूछा था, आपने पूछा था चींटी से, खुद को लगा खुद ही बोल के। क्या ईगो है भाई, ईगो का लेवल देखो। जीवो एवरी सेमिनार आई गो मानु जीवो श्रेष्ठ भाई। এই যে জেঠি গেটা ইয়াতে আছে, हैव यू आस्क्ड देम कि डू यू एग्री आई एम जीवो श्रेष्ठ? खुद ही खुद को बोल दिया जीवो श्रेष्ठ। ये बात हुआ क्या? सो दिस इज द ईगो, दिस इज द ईगो। अच्छा, टेल मी, पीपल कम एंड टेल मी व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू डू? आई विल सेव द अर्थ। भाई कमर में दर्द होता है वो कम नहीं कर सकता है, सेव द अर्थ कैसे करेगा? तो सिंपल लॉजिकल बात करो, टेक स्मॉल स्टेप्स, टेक स्मॉल। अर्थ हैज सीन 5 आइस एजेस, कॉमेट स्ट्राइक्स, एंड हिस्ट्री में 4.5 बिलियन ईयर में और क्या देखा पता ही नहीं है, बट अर्थ इज स्टिल देयर। डर अर्थ के लिए नहीं है, डर है हमारे लिए। अर्थ विल स्टे, वी विल गो। अर्थ का एक बढ़िया लॉजिक देखा है हम। अर्थ क्या करता है, पहले आपको ऊपर उठाता है नेचर, बिल्डिंग का एकदम 4th फ्लोर में, फिर उधर से धक्का मार देता है। आपको जब लगता है आप द रूलर, डायनासोर को लगा था ना, डायनासोर को लगा था, ऐसे करके उठाया पूरा, डायनासोर वाज बिकमिंग द हीरो, एंड देन एक झटका में डायनासोर गायब हो गया। विल ऑल्सो वैनिश। अर्थ का चिंता छोड़ दो, ह्यूमन का चिंता करो। नेचर विल बी देयर, नेचर इज देयर, नेचर नोज हाउ टू हील, नेचर नोज। एक टाइम आएगा जब वी विल बी ए बोझ and will vanish, and we are vanishing. You know, the X chromosome, the Y chromosome has become 80 genes big. पता है? X chromosome is 1000 gene. Y chromosome is 80 gene. I am male because of that Y chromosome. कुछ दिन बाद Y chromosome रहेगा नहीं, धीरे धीरे कम कम के, तो ह्यूमन कहाँ से रहेगा? नेचर इज प्लेइंग इट्स ओन गेम। ठीक है, नंबर लाइन इसलिए दिखाया, हम लोग को कुछ प्लस नहीं करना है भाई, हम लोग को जीरो में आना है। सो सिंस वी हैव डन लॉट ऑफ माइनस, सो वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू सम प्लस टू कम बैक टू जीरो। वी डोंट वांट टू डू एनीथिंग प्लस। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। सो दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट लास्ट। अभी क्या है ना, अभी हम लोग का हमेशा एक कॉन्सेप्ट रहता है कीस्टोन स्पीशीज। तो कीस्टोन स्पीशीज अभी देखो, अभी यहाँ ये if you see this, what is this festival, do you know? What is this festival? It is predominant in Maharashtra, Janmashtami. So you see everybody is tying above one another, and you are focusing on whom? This or that? Up or down? Up. सब ऊपर देख रहा है, ये this person will break this off. But if I remove someone from below, will he stand? This is the ecosystem. Snakes, frogs, how much you dislike or like doesn't matter, but our existence on this earth depend on their shoulder. So they should stay and we will stay. Next please. So basically और नहीं बढ़ाऊंगा मैं, जाते जाते एक बात खाली बोल के जाऊंगा। If there are no stories, create stories. Conservation is all about story. कंजर्वेशन इज ऑल अबाउट स्टोरी टेलिंग। ठीक है, तो एक बार मुझे अगर मैं आपको बताऊं कि गो एंड सेव टाइगर्स, ठीक है ना, इफ आई गो एंड टेल यू सेव टाइगर्स, गाली पड़ेगा, पीछे से गाली पड़ेगा। टाइगर सारा दिन यूनिवर्सिटी में बैठ के फिर यू हैव टू सेव टाइगर्स, डज इट मेक एनी सेंस? नो। बट इफ आई से if you want to be in connection with your boyfriend or girlfriend, you should save tiger. If I give you some incentive, then only you will think, listen to me. बच्चे लोगों को ऐसे ही स्टोरी बोलना है। कैसे बोलना है देखो, अगर टाइगर नहीं रहा तो क्या होगा? Herbivores, the story may be little having loopholes, but that's the story. This is a story. What will happen? Herbivores will increase or decrease? Increase or decrease? Increase. Herbivore will increase तो क्या होगा? Plants सब खा जाएगा. If all the plants are been eaten, क्या होगा? Then transpiration will reduce. Transpiration reduce, cloud formation reduce. Cloud formation reduce, rain reduce. Rain reduce, lack of water in the high altitude. Most of the power of northeast, hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity में ऊपर में पानी चाहिए. If there is no water, where electricity will be produced? If there is no electricity, how will you charge your mobile? If you cannot charge your mobile, how will you message your boyfriend or girlfriend? So you have to save tiger to text your boyfriend or girlfriend. Story बनाना पड़ेगा. और यही story जाके you have to dish the way. Now, for example, I am a very good speaker, for example. But if I speak in Chinese, will you understand? No. I have to speak the language you know. है ना? जब boyfriend बोला तभी आप मेरे से align हुआ. जब girlfriend बोला तभी आप मेरे से align हुआ. Biotone, ecotone बोलने से आप मेरे से align होगा ही नहीं. So you have to know what to talk to whom. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
You all, myself Sanat Bohra, and I am associated with the NGO Help Earth, and I'll be discussing about the basics on the snakes of Assam, their identification, and of course the methods of rescues and all. So just like my Guruji Jayitya sir told, Guwahati, it's surrounded by 18 hill ranges. And it's quite interesting to know that those 18 hill ranges, they harbor nearly 31 species of snakes. Right, and so just like how Jayitya sir told, like most people, like in terms of conservation, like most of the people, they think we should conserve, like big mammals, like, rhinos, tigers, elephants. Yeah, like you should conserve them, like no issues. But these small lesser known vertebrates, I mean the frogs, reptiles, snakes, they are the building blocks. So what happens is, like the larger mammals, they are getting attention, and these lesser known vertebrates, like frogs, reptiles, snakes, they are wiping out and they are vanishing out. So like what my aim is, like I want to make aware, like even these small, reptiles, they play a crucial role in our ecosystem. Okay, now let's wait a little bit for my presentation. So as I told you, I'll be discussing on the basics of snakes of Assam. So next, please. Yeah, snakes, as we all know, they are reptiles. So what are basically reptiles? Since you people, you belong from the life sciences department, so I know you all are familiar with that. So reptiles, they're basically animals, having scales or scutes all over their body, and they are ectotherms. From ectotherms, I mean, like they cannot maintain their own body temperature. They have to rely on some external source, right? And they produce some hard-shelled eggs. Okay, so that's the basics. Next, please. Yeah, so what constitutes reptiles? The snakes plus lizards plus turtles and tortoises and crocodiles. They constitute reptiles. Next, please. So how many species till date in the world? So you can see in 2008, in the world, there were around 8,734 species. But in March 2022, you can see the total number of reptiles in the world, it's 11,733. So why this trend is increasing? Like there is so much to explore. Like on regular basis, each year, like more than 50 species of reptiles, they are being discovered and described from throughout the world. Next, please. Okay, any one of you, what is this? Snake or lizard? I'm giving 2 minutes time. Nah, not an ichthyophis. Good try. Yeah, correct. It's a legless lizard. Next, please. This is the difference. You can see there is an external ear opening, and snakes, they don't have such external ear openings. So this is the difference. Next, please. Yeah, snakes, we all know they are elongated reptiles. They are limbless, but despite being limbless, like they are an example of an extraordinary, evolutionary change in terms of survival. They don't have limbs, but see, they can climb, they can get under the ground, they can swim. So they are like adapted, to survive anywhere on Earth. So living snakes, you'll find them everywhere on this Earth except Antarctica. Next, please. And these are all about senses. Like, unlike humans, what snakes they do, they smell through their tongue. So what they do is their tongue, like they capture those, odor particles, and then they have this organ called Jacobson's organ, which lies just here, in between the nostril and the eyes. So that it will pull its tongue inside, and then it will contact its tongue with the Jacobson's organ. And then the organ will tell, based on those particles captured, what is the organism around it. So even if it doesn't seize anything, like it will get an idea what's coming around. Okay, then you people might think, then what's the point of having nostril? Jeeb se agar sungta hai, naak ka kya kaam hai? So the thing is, it helps in respiration. And there is one more interesting organ that's called the pit. And it's only present in pit vipers. It's like it's a heat detecting organ. Okay, it gives a thermal image to pit vipers. And only pit vipers, they have this pit. And it lies very close to the eye. And you can see other snakes, they don't have pits. They only have nostrils. So if you see any snake, like from the lateral part of the head, you'll see two. Agar do chhed hai, to yaad rakhna, the one that, that's near the eye, it's a pit. And the one that's near the snout is the nostril. And if you see a pit, it's a highly venomous pit viper. Next, please. So snakes, you can get them anywhere. Like they are semi-aquatic, you'll get them in waters. Then they are fossorial. From fossorial, I mean like they are burrowing. And they're arboreal. Like some species, they live strictly on trees. Then most of them are terrestrial, land-dwelling. And some species, they can even survive in deserts. Next, please. Yeah, the most important part, so I want each and every one of you to listen very carefully. So there are 5 major families of snakes in Northeast India. The first 3, they are non-venomous, okay? So family Typhlophidae, it consists of worm snakes. They look like worms, but definitely they are not worms. Then the second is family Colubridae. This is the largest family. And it includes non-venomous and semi-venomous snakes. So that's that causes no harm to humans. And then comes Pythonidae. As the name suggests, it includes pythons. And the remaining 2, they are highly venomous. Family Elapidae. This is also known as the cobra family, and it consists of cobras, kraits, and coral snakes. And then comes family Viperidae, as the name says, vipers and pit vipers. And in Northeast India, we don't have vipers, we only have pit vipers. So it's easy to identify them. Next, please. Yeah, venomous and harmless, how to identify them. Next, please. Yeah, so the most important thing, like how to identify pit vipers, you can see, उन लोग का जो गर्दन होता है, the neck, it's very small, and the head, it's very distinct from the neck, बहुत बड़ा होता है. And you can see the scales, they are very small on the head. एकदम दूर से ही आप पहचान सकते हो. But if you happen to see a non-venomous snake, you'll see the top of the, in the head, the scales, they are compact. And interestingly, you can name them. There are specific names for this, scales. So you can see some of them, they are parietal, they are the above the eyes, they are supraocular. So such compact scales, you won't get in pit vipers. And look at their neck. The head, it's little bit distinct from the neck. But see pit vipers, their head is huge. Okay. And next is, as I told you earlier, presence of pit, which will not get in any non-venomous snake. See, they only have the nostrils, but they don't have pit. Okay. So next, please. Yeah. Now this, kraits, I would arguably say kraits are like one of the, I would say that the most venomous groups of snakes in entire Asia. So how to identify them? Like if you happen to see the snake from above, what you will see is kraits, like just above their body, in the mid-dorsal region, you'll get hexagonal scales. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these hexagonal scales, you'll not get in any other non-venomous snake. And you can see those hexagonal scales, they are slightly larger than other scales. which makes crates interesting. And one more interesting fact, all the crates in this world, they have hexagonal scales. And you can see this is a non-venomous snake from above. They just have a simple four-sided elongated scales. Next, please. Yeah, so that's a jaw of a venomous snake. You can see like the first pair of teeth, they're elongated, and these teeth are called fangs. So these are the teeth through which venom comes out. And those remaining smaller teeth, like they help in, grabbing prey. Next, please. So this is the dentition of a non-venomous snake. You can see all the teeth, they are arranged in sub-equal sets. They're equal. They don't have any enlarged, teeth just like venomous snakes in the front. Next, please. Yeah, so this is one important aspect. So because of the presence of fangs in the front, like if a venomous snake bites anyone, you'll see those two big holes, markings. And because of the presence of smaller teeth at the back, you'll find those two big markings, they're surrounded by small markings. And in non-venomous snake, since I told you, the teeth, they are of equal size, and the bite pattern, you'll see the markings, they are of equal size. So that's an important thing. Next, please. Yeah, so what is venom? Like venom is a form of a toxin, which the animal releases for the purpose of, killing another animal, and mostly for its prey. And they use their venom in self-defense. So this is the venom gland, which lies just below the eye, and the fangs that are connected to the venom gland. And the venom, it comes out, and there are small narrow openings, on the bottom of the fang through which the venom comes out. Next, please. Yeah, snake venom toxins, they are very simple, like neurotoxins, as the name says, it attacks nerves. Cytotoxins, it attacks tissue. Hemotoxins, it attacks blood. And myotoxins, it attacks, muscles. Next, please. Yeah, so more than 90% of snake venom, it's nothing much complex. It's just a complex protein. And sometimes, like dry bites, what happens is, like a snake, it doesn't want to waste its venom unnecessarily. So sometimes, if there is a human who is disturbing a snake, even if a snake bites, say for example a cobra, even it bites, what it does is, it simply gives you dry bite. It will bite you, but it will not release even a single drop of venom, just to save its venom. So that's called a dry bite. Next, please. So why do snakes molt? It's very simple, like, the old and the worn out skin, it's replaced, then it helps them to get rid of parasites, such as, ticks. And next, please. So interestingly, the males of snakes, they have two penises for mating purposes, and they are called hemipenis. Now imagine a human like that. Just kidding. Next, please. So these are some of the snakes of Assam. Next, please. With non-venomous species. This is a blind snake. Yeah, it's obviously it looks like a worm, but it's not a worm. It's a snake. Next, please. This is a giant worm snake. Like it's very fat and thick, and you can see these scales. It differentiated from worms. Worms, they don't have these small scales. They have segments, and you can see their eye is very indistinct. Hence the name blind snake. Next, please. They are all harmless. ये तो सबको पता है, अजगर है. Next, please. Snake, like I'm starting with non-venomous snakes. So this is a common wolf snake. You can see the body is brown. It has whitish patch. I'm pretty much sure all of you have seen this snake at night, in thatched houses, in rough walls. Very common snake you'll get throughout Guwahati. অসমীয়াত ধৰা সাপ বুলি কয়, নলাত থাকে. Checkered keelback water snake. Buff striped keelback you'll get in villages, paddy fields, very easy to identify. Body is olive green. It has two parallel, yellowish lines. Painted keelback, a rare snake you'll get in deep wetlands of Diporbil. It's a very gentle snake, it hardly bites and it's harmless. Rainbow water snake, অসমীয়াত মেনিখাপ বুলি কয়. And like this snake, like even it stays in deep wetlands, like it gets caught in fishing nets. Yeah, this is the most common snake of Guwahati. Like people, they fear this snake a lot. Whenever this snake, you know, they say, they see it nearby, people, they call it cobra, fetikhabaise, but it's not like that. Remember rat snakes, you'll get elongated vertical markings on its lips, which no other snake has. So that's what distinguishes it from cobras. And these snakes, they can grow huge, up to 10 feet, but they're harmless. This is another rat snake. It's pretty rare. You'll get in forested areas, the Indo-Chinese rat snake. And it doesn't has that typical vertical markings, just like Indian rat snake. But one thing is for sure, whenever you see a tail and that like there are ring-like blotches, immediately you'll identify it. You can easily say it's an Indo-Chinese rat snake. No other snake has reticulations like this. So this is again a harmless and a non-venomous snake. Next, painted bronzeback, another very sweet and gentle snake. It hardly bites. It's an arboreal snake. It stays mostly in plantations and trees. Okay, it's very thin, but it can get quite long. Short-nosed vine snake, as the name says, it looks like a vine on a tree, but again, it's a very harmless snake. You can see the nose, it's pointed. I mean the snout. This is another vine snake. Like interestingly, like me and Jaiditya, we got this snake for the first time from Assam. It was a new record. Initially, this snake, you know, it was only found in Odisha. So it's called the Laudankia vine snake. This is a green cat snake. Like it's a rare snake. You have to go to deep forests like Kamakhya, then Amchang, and you'll get this snake. It's an arboreal species. This is an eastern cat snake, another forest-dwelling snake. Like it's very easy to identify. You can see the body. It has some Y-shaped blotches, and it's a harmless species. Very beautiful and a gentle snake, ornate flying snake. Like you can see, it's very easy to identify. You can see the body. It's, you know, it has small circular blotches, and it's a very gentle snake. You'll get this snake in the hills of Guwahati. Copper-headed trinket, another huge snake. You know, people they really fear this species, but it's a harmless species. It can grow huge, up to 9 or 10 feet. This is a white-barred kukri snake. You'll get this species in the hills. Like whenever rainfall, when there is, you know, pretty huge rainfall, it comes out through the loose soils. Yeah, it's a mock viper. It is also known as the false viper. Okay, it mimics to be a true viper, but it's not a venomous snake. So the most important thing to identify this snake is, you can see on the top of the head, there is a typical Y-shaped blotch, which will not get in any other snake. Yeah, now I'll take a little more time here, because we are dealing with venomous snakes. Red-necked keelback, I'm pretty much sure you have seen this species in your campus also, near wetlands or something like that. It's very easy to identify. The body is olive green, and the neck, it's distinctly red. So it's a venomous species. Next, please. Salazar spit viper. Like it's a fairly uncommon snake. You'll get it in the hills, but you can see it's very easy to identify. Like I told you all, they have pits near the eye, and it has a lemon yellow coloration. Yeah, this is a Pope's spit viper. Like this is again, like you'll get this species in Guwahati, but you have to go nearby Assam Meghalaya border. It stays high up in the hills. It's a venomous one. Next, please. Banded krait, I'm pretty much sure most of you have seen this in paddy fields or in wetlands. Okay, but it's a very shy snake. Yeah, this is the snake which all the herpetologists will definitely think before, you know, handling this species twice. I would arguably say this is the most venomous snake of India. Okay, so this is a lesser black krait, and you'll get this species like in hills. It's not that common. When you will throw light on this species, what will see is the body, it's bluish black in coloration, and the lips, they are, you know, they are white. And it's a very, like, I would say this snake produces the most potent venom out of all the snakes in India. Macklin's coral snake, rare snake. I haven't got this species from Guwahati, but I believe you can get this in, you know, in hills. You can see the body is red, and it's like it has small narrow bands, and the head is intermixed with white and black. Monocled cobra, most of you have seen this near paddy fields and all. You can see like the hood, it has a circle, hence the name monocult. Mono means single, cult means circle, single circle. King Cobra. So Guwahati, like it's a treasure, literally, because me and Jaiditya sir, we never thought we'll get a king cobra from Guwahati. Only twice we have got this species. So it's very easy to identify. You can see like it has a huge body. The body is black. It has distinct whitish and yellowish bands, and it can grow up to 18 feet. Anyone can identify this species. So read like if you are really interested, if you really want to know about these lesser known vertebrates, I would say read at least one. Like I would personally recommend the above four. Like Reptiles of Assam, like this book is written by my guru Jaitya sir itself. Like, and this Urban Herpeta Fauna also, and the Mizoram Rule Chachain, Snakes of Mizoram. Like the above four books, for beginners it's really great. So there are 64 species of snakes in Assam, of which 15 snakes are venomous, or I mean to say they are of medical importance. So this is how, this is how hatchlings look like when they come out from eggs. Yeah, whenever you rescue a snake, like I would say, never use your bare hands. You can use some safety instruments like hooks or tongs. You can, bag it up and you can release it somewhere. Next, please. I mean, in its appropriate habitat. So as you can see, like a snake is being released in its appropriate habitat. Yeah. Is this rescue? Tell me. It just takes a fraction of a second for the cobra to turn back and give him a nasty bite. अगर काठी खाना है तो रेस्क्यू का फायदा क्या हुआ? Okay, so never do such stunts. So like some 5,000 to 7,000 people, like they die in India from snake bite during the monsoon, and like relatively less than 2,000 deaths it occurs in winters. Possibly, like we all know that why, because snakes they hibernate in winter. Yeah, so if you really want your house or your compound, like to be snake free, I would personally say keep your house and surroundings mouse free and toad free, okay, and look where you are putting your hands, okay, and use ammonia or bleaching powder to to clean the surroundings. Yeah, so I'm nearly done. Now my friend Abhi will speak a few words on snake bite management. Thank you. Like if you come to know like it's a venomous snake by looking at the markings, first of all don't panic, because snake, it has injected the venom in your blood. So if you panic, there will be an extreme increase in the blood flow. So first of all, don't panic, just sit down, okay, wash that wound and apply a bandage in the, in the bitten area, and like you can rush to a hospital using a vehicle or, and immediately like just go to the hospital. No need to go to any tantric, Baba or something like that. Okay, so yeah, I'm nearly done. Next, please. Yeah, this is all about nonsense. Okay, like what happens is some snake charmers, like they do, they hold a bean and they do like this, but it's not like that. What happens is the snake, it notices your movement. Like if there is a cobra here and if I do like this, it'll just do like this. It'll like, it focuses on your movement. That's the trick. Next, please. Snakes, they don't have ears, so how they can listen to the music, right? Yeah, so these are some myths, money, snake stones. These are absolute, bullshit. Next, please. Please go to the previous slide.
Yeah, one more thing, no, before that.
Yeah, previous one, again.
This one more thing, snakes, they don't have, they have compound eyes. So their vision is not as clear as like a hawk or human being. So they don't see objects very extremely clearly, but because of that, they follow the movement. Because of that, they will move like this, and people say, oh, it's a genius. That guy, he's a bullshit, he's nobody. People
Exactly,
he's genius.
exactly. Okay, next, please. Yeah, next. Yeah, so, like, I hate to say this, many of my relatives, they watch this, and I be like, क्यों अपना समय बर्बाद कर रहे हो भाई? क्यों अपना समय बर्बाद कर रहे हो? So, this is the reason why people, when they get bitten by snakes, they go to Tantrik, Ocha, Baba, and they eventually die. Okay, so thank you very much. So what pit does is, like the snakes, they can detect like warm-blooded small mammals even in extreme darkness. So it gives you a thermal image. Like if you wear thermal glasses, you can see like people, they have warm blood, you'll see red structures, and then like cold-blooded, you'll see blue color, something like that happens. That's the most important, feature of a pit.